Jax's revenge domain. I was standing outside Howard Nelson's office when I heard him say it. Pat's good, but he's old school. Time to move on. My name's Patrick Sullivan. I'm 51, and I'd just heard the words that would change everything. But let me back up a second. I'd been walking down the hall at Techflow Corporation with a technical report Howard had requested when I heard voices through his half-open door. The smart thing would have been to knock and announce myself. Instead, something made me stop and listen. The algorithm work could be handled by the new team just fine, Howard continued, talking to Diana Brooks, our VP of Operations. We need fresh thinking. Pat's been here 15 years. That's valuable, but we're moving toward more agile development. Fresh thinking. Agile development. Corporate speak for too old. What about the patent situation? Diana asked. Legal said there might be complications. That's handled, Howard replied dismissively. The algorithm was developed on company time with company resources. It belongs to Techflow, period. Once Pat's gone, we can position it however we want. I stood there frozen, holding that stupid report, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. They were talking about my distributed processing algorithm, the one that powered DataSync, our flagship product used by 35% of Fortune 500 companies. The same algorithm Howard had presented at TechCon last year, calling me just one of our senior engineers. When are you thinking? Diana asked. Next week. Clean restructuring. Nothing personal, just business evolution. The algorithm documentation is solid enough for transition. I backed away quietly and returned to my office, mind racing. 15 years at this company. 15 years of building their core technology, training teams, solving problems nobody else could handle. And this was how it ended, with them planning my exit while figuring out how to steal my life's work. Here's the thing about being 51 in tech. Everyone assumes you're behind the curve, that you don't understand modern approaches. What they don't realize is that experience teaches you things you can't learn from coding boot camps or YouTube tutorials. Things like patience, planning, and documentation. I spent the weekend thinking, then Monday morning I did something that would prove crucial later. I pulled my original employment agreement and read every word. Twice. Section 12B was interesting. Intellectual property developed by employee using company resources during company time shall be property of Techflow Corporation. Keywords, company resources, company time. See, here's what Howard and his team didn't know. Over the past 18 months, I'd been working on significant improvements to my algorithm at home, using my personal lab setup. Those enhancements, which boosted processing efficiency by 35%, were developed entirely on my own time with my own equipment. Why had I done that? Partly because I love the work, partly because I'd seen the writing on the wall. Young hotshots kept getting promoted over experienced engineers. Budget discussions always focused on cost optimization. Corporate speak for replacing expensive senior staff with cheap recent graduates. I'd been preparing for this possibility without even realizing it. Tuesday morning, I casually asked our legal department about the status of my algorithm patent. "Oh, we're handling that," came the response. "Should be filed soon." Wednesday, I checked again. Same answer. By Thursday, I knew they were stalling. Or worse, they had no intention of filing it properly. They wanted to push me out, then claim the algorithm as general company IP without specific inventor attribution. That's when I made the call. Charlie Morrison and I went back 8 years to when he was VP of Engineering at DataCorp before becoming CEO of Digital Solutions, Techflow's biggest competitor. We'd maintained contact, industry conferences, occasional drinks, professional respect. When I called and suggested we meet for coffee, he agreed immediately. I might have a business proposition, I told him over the phone, but it's sensitive. Interesting timing, Charlie replied. We've been looking to expand our processing capabilities. Coffee sounds good. We met at Pinnacle, a steakhouse downtown where tech executives wouldn't normally go. Charlie listened as I explained the situation, my impending dismissal, the patent issues, the improvements I'd made on personal time. You're telling me Techflow is about to lose their core algorithm developer and their competitive advantage in one move? He asked. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Charlie leaned back, thinking, what kind of improvements are we talking about? 35% efficiency boost, better error handling, scalability improvements that would let you process data sets 3 times larger than current industry standard. And you can document that this was personal work? I pulled out my laptop and showed him the development logs, timestamps, equipment purchase receipts, Everything proved the work was done at home, after hours, using personal resources. How fast can you get a patent filed? I asked. With the right attorney and priority processing? 4 weeks. And if I were to join Digital Solutions? We'd need to move fast, but yes. CTO position, equity, full development team support. Charlie paused. When are they planning to let you go? Best guess? Next week. Then we better get started. We shook hands over dinner. By Friday, the patent application was filed under my name. By the following Monday, I had a signed offer from Digital Solutions. All I had to do was wait for Howard to make his move. The call came Wednesday morning. Patrick, we need to see you in conference room B at 2 p.m., Diana said. Please bring any current project files. I smiled, looking at the calendar on my desk. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Right on schedule. Time to see how this played out. Patrick, after 15 years with Techflow Corporation, we're restructuring your division, Diana Brooks announced, her voice carrying that particular satisfaction executives get when they think they're being clever. She sat across from me in the glass conference room, flanked by Laura Coleman from HR, both wearing those carefully practiced expressions of corporate concern. I nodded thoughtfully, accepting the manila folder without opening it. Inside would be the standard package, 2 weeks for every year of service, health coverage for 3 months, and some career counseling resources I'd never use. I understand completely, I said, keeping my voice steady. These decisions aren't easy. The relief on their faces was obvious. They'd clearly expected pushback, maybe anger. After all, I was a 51-year-old engineer in an industry that worships youth. What they didn't realize was that I'd been preparing for this moment. The company is moving toward a more agile development structure, Laura added. Your contributions have been valuable, but we're consolidating under our digital transformation initiative. Digital transformation. Another buzzword meaning out with the old, in with the cheap. We'll need you to transition your projects by Friday, Diana continued, gaining confidence from my apparent acceptance. Keycard, laptop, and phone before you leave. Your team will be notified this afternoon. My team. Stephen Walsh, Jennifer Phillips, and 2 other solid engineers I'd recruited and trained over the years. The same people who'd helped me refine the processing algorithm that made data sync actually work in enterprise environments. Of course, I said, standing up. Anything else? They exchanged glances, clearly unsettled by how smoothly this was going. Diana recovered first. That's all for now. Thank you for keeping this professional. Walking back to my office, I passed Howard's corner suite where he was probably celebrating getting rid of the dinosaur. Through the glass walls, I could see him on a call, gesturing animatedly, probably discussing how they'd position my algorithm going forward. I closed my office door and pulled out my personal phone, sending Charlie Morrison a simple text. It's happening. Friday's my last day. His response came immediately. Perfect timing. Press release draft ready. Legal says patent's solid. I looked at my calendar. Wednesday afternoon. Friday, I'd walk out of Techflow for the last time. Monday, things would get interesting. The next 2 days were surreal. I maintained complete professional composure while rumors spread through the company. Administrative staff offered sympathetic glances. Junior developers awkwardly asked for LinkedIn recommendations. I documented everything meticulously, every project detail, every password, every process, not out of kindness. This was evidence that I'd acted in good faith while the company had not. During my exit interview Friday afternoon, Laura went through her standard checklist with mechanical precision. You understand that any intellectual property developed during your employment remains company property, she stated, pushing a non-disclosure agreement across the table. Of course, I replied pleasantly. Anything developed within the scope of my employment, using company resources, during company time. I emphasized those qualifiers slightly, but Laura was too busy checking boxes to notice. And you confirm you have no copies of proprietary company information? I've taken nothing that belongs to Techflow, I said truthfully. The patent was mine, after all. As I packed my personal items, family photos, conference badges from 15 years of industry events, the coffee mug my team gave me last Christmas, Diana stopped by. Just wanted to make sure everything's clear for your departure, she said, leaning casually against the doorframe. Crystal clear, I replied, wrapping a small innovation award I'd received for the very algorithm now at the center of my plans. You know, Patrick, these restructuring decisions are never personal, Diana continued. Howard feels the company needs more agile thinking. I looked up, meeting her gaze directly. I understand completely. Business is business. Something in my tone made her pause. Uncertainty flickered across her face, but she dismissed it quickly. What could a soon-to-be unemployed 51-year-old engineer possibly do? "Will you be taking some time off?" she asked with artificial concern. "Actually, I already have something lined up," I said. "Start Monday." Surprise crossed her features. "That's fast. Anything interesting?" I smiled. "Executive position." "I'm looking forward to it." She nodded absently, already mentally moving on. "Well, best of luck." I walked out of Techflow's headquarters for the final time, key card surrendered, personal belongings in a cardboard box. I paused to look back at the building where I'd spent 15 years. On the top floor, I could see Howard's corner office lit for a late meeting, probably discussing how to redistribute my responsibilities among younger, cheaper staff. They had no idea what was coming. That weekend, I finalized everything with Digital Solutions. The contract was beautiful. 7-figure signing bonus, significant equity, full development budget, and a team of experienced engineers who actually listened when senior staff talked. Charlie had also made good on his promise about my former team. All 4 positions were ready, with substantial raises and better titles. I'd sent each of them a personal message Friday evening. "Check your personal email. Something interesting waiting." Stephen Walsh had replied immediately. "Holy shit, Patrick. Are you serious about this CTO thing?" "Dead serious," I'd texted back, "and you can bring the others with you. When do we start? Give Techflow your notice Monday. Start with me the following week." Sunday evening, I laid out my best suit, navy blue, sharp cut, bought specifically for tomorrow. I'd been wearing khakis and polos for 15 years, time for a change. Monday morning arrived bright and clear. The Digital Solutions car picked me up at 7:30 a.m. sharp, taking me to their headquarters where I'd start as Chief Technology Officer. Press release goes live at 8 a.m., Charlie informed me as I settled into my new corner office, twice the size of my old cube, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city skyline. Industry blogs should pick it up within the hour. The announcement had been crafted with surgical precision. Digital Solutions acquires exclusive rights to revolutionary processing algorithm, welcomes creator Patrick Sullivan as Chief Technology Officer. It detailed my background, emphasized my role as sole inventor of the patented technology, and explained how Digital Solutions would integrate the algorithm into their next-generation platforms. Most importantly, it stated clearly that any company currently using the technology would need to negotiate licensing agreements with Digital Solutions moving forward. At exactly 9:15 a.m., my phone started buzzing with texts from my former colleagues. Stephen Walsh. "Complete chaos here. What the hell did you do?" Jennifer Phillips. "Boardroom's been locked down since 8:30. Security guards everywhere." Another from Stephen. "Howard looks like he's about to have a heart attack." I smiled, typing back, "Just claimed what was always mine. Your offer letters are in your personal email." The response was immediate. "We're in, all 4 of us. When do we give notice?" "Today," I replied. No point waiting. 8 miles away at Techflow headquarters, the Monday morning executive meeting was transforming into something else entirely. And I was just getting started. By 10:30 a.m., what should have been Techflow's routine Monday morning executive meeting had become a full-blown crisis session. According to Stephen's play-by-play updates, Howard had arrived to find the company's general counsel and CFO waiting at his door, both holding printed copies of the Digital Solutions press release. "They're pulling every file with your name on it," Stephen texted. "Legal team's been locked in the conference room since 9 a.m. Someone just wheeled in servers from our development division. I could picture it perfectly." Howard pacing the glass-walled boardroom, demanding explanations from Diana and legal while trying to figure out how badly they'd screwed up. The stock market had already noticed. Techflow was down 6% since opening, while Digital Solutions had jumped 12% at 10:45 a.m. I received an email from Howard himself. The desperation practically leaked through the screen. "Patrick, there appears to be some confusion regarding your recent announcement. Please call me at your earliest convenience to discuss this matter." I forwarded it to our legal team without responding. Let him sweat. "How are you settling in?" Charlie asked, stopping by my new office as I reviewed integration plans with my development team. "Like I should have made this move years ago," I replied honestly. The respect I received at Digital Solutions was night and day compared to my final months at Techflow. When I spoke in meetings, people actually listened. My ideas weren't dismissed or repackaged by younger colleagues. My experience was viewed as an asset, not a liability. Engineering's excited about implementing your efficiency improvements, Charlie continued. Early testing shows even better results than expected. 35% performance boost, just like you projected. I had several refinements I never shared with Techflow, I admitted. After I discovered they were planning to eliminate my position, I saw no reason to give them my best work. Their loss, Charlie grinned. Speaking of which, first licensing inquiry came in this morning, not from Techflow, they're still in denial, but from data core systems. They use your algorithm in their backup solutions and want to make sure they're covered. Meanwhile, my phone kept buzzing with updates from inside Techflow. Jennifer Phillips had sent a detailed account of the all-hands meeting Howard called for 2 p.m. He tried to project confidence, she reported, assured everyone that Techflow would vigorously defend our proprietary technology. But people aren't buying it. Half the engineering department updated their LinkedIn profiles during the meeting. The best part? When someone directly asked if the company had properly secured the patent for DataSync's core algorithm, Diana had looked like she might faint. Howard cut the Q&A short after that question. Rumor is they're going to try to sue you, Jennifer added, but word's spreading that you documented everything perfectly. I forwarded her message to our legal department, who responded immediately. Let them try. Your development logs are bulletproof. Every timestamp, every personal equipment purchase, every after-hours session clearly documented. They have no case. By Tuesday, the industry fallout had intensified. 2 major clients had contacted Digital Solutions about potentially switching from DataSync, concerned about Techflow's ability to maintain the product without its creator. Our stock continued climbing while Techflow's decline accelerated. The real blow came Wednesday morning. Laura Coleman from Techflow HR called me directly. The same woman who'd slid my severance package across the table just days earlier. Patrick, she began, her voice carefully professional but strained. I'm calling about the situation with your patent filing. We believe there may have been a misunderstanding about ownership rights. I don't think there's any misunderstanding, I replied calmly. My employment agreement clearly states that intellectual property developed on personal time using personal resources remains with the creator. The patent documentation confirms exactly that. Howard was hoping you might consider coming in to discuss options, she said. Any discussions would need to go through Digital Solutions' legal department now, I responded. I'm sure they'd be happy to set up a meeting about licensing terms. The silence on the other end was deafening. That afternoon, I led my first formal presentation to Digital Solutions' board of directors, outlining our technology roadmap with my algorithm improvements at its center. Standing confidently at the head of the mahogany table, not hidden in the back like at Techflow, I caught approving nods from board members who actually understood the technical implications. Revenue projections look outstanding, the chairman noted, and the competitive advantage from Patrick's efficiency improvements should be sustainable for at least 18 months. Longer than that, I replied. I've got additional enhancements in development that will keep us ahead of any attempts to reverse engineer the core functionality. Meanwhile, Stephen sent me blow-by-blow coverage of Techflow's emergency board meeting that had been called for Thursday morning. Stocks down 18% from Monday's open, he reported. 3 board members flew in from out of state. Howard's been in damage control mode all week, but it's not working. Any word on their strategy? I asked. 2 options on the table. Negotiate licensing with you guys, or try to rebuild DataSync without your algorithm. Engineers are telling them the rebuild would take 18 months minimum and cost millions in development. What's the licensing estimate? Legal calculated it would cost them about 60% of current DataSync profit margin to license at standard rates. More if you guys demand premium pricing. That evening, Techflow's attorneys finally reached out to Digital Solutions about opening a dialogue. Our legal team, following the strategy Charlie and I had developed, responded with terms that were technically fair but financially painful. 2.5 times standard industry licensing rates, plus public acknowledgement of my role as the algorithm's creator. They'll resist the acknowledgement more than the cost, Charlie predicted as we reviewed the proposal in his office. Howard's ego won't let him admit he pushed out the guy who created their core technology. Then they'll have to rebuild, I replied. And every day they spend trying to replicate my work is another day we extend our market lead. By Friday, exactly 1 week after my dismissal, Techflow had entered full crisis mode. Stock had fallen 22% from Monday's opening bell, triggering concerned calls from major investors. Industry analysts were publishing speculation pieces with titles like "Can Techflow Survive the Algorithm Crisis?" and "How Strategic Blunders Cost Tech Giants Everything." Through my industry contacts, I learned that Howard had finally acknowledged the severity of the situation to his board. Techflow would need to either license my algorithm from Digital Solutions at rates that would devastate their profit margins, or undertake a complete rebuild of DataSync without using any technology covered by my patent. Emergency leadership meeting scheduled for Monday, Stephen informed me during our final check-in before he officially started at Digital Solutions. Word is the board's lost confidence in Howard's handling of this situation. I smiled, looking at my new business cards. Patrick Sullivan, Chief Technology Officer, Digital Solutions. Sometimes patience really is a virtue. Monday morning brought the news I'd been waiting for. My new assistant knocked on my office door with a breaking industry alert. "Mr. Sullivan, Techflow just announced emergency leadership changes. Howard Nelson is stepping down effective immediately." Within hours, every major tech publication was running the story. Techflow's board had lost confidence in Howard's leadership following what they diplomatically called strategic oversights that threatened core business operations. Diana Brooks was also out, along with the head of legal who'd failed to properly secure my patent. The interim CEO announcement came that afternoon. Michael Rodriguez, brought in from outside to clean up the mess. Unlike Howard's desperate emails from the previous week, Rodriguez's first communication was refreshingly straightforward. "Mr. Sullivan, congratulations on your new position at Digital Solutions. I've been brought in to help Techflow navigate our current challenges. I'd like to discuss a fair licensing arrangement for your patented technology. We're prepared to acknowledge your contributions publicly and make appropriate amends for previous management's failures. Would you be available to meet next week?" I forwarded it to Charlie with a simple note. Phase 1 complete. His reply came immediately. "Board celebrating your first major victory. Want to grab dinner and plan Phase 2? But honestly, there didn't need to be a Phase 2. The market had already delivered its verdict. By the end of my second week at Digital Solutions, we'd signed licensing agreements with 3 major companies who'd been nervous about their dependence on Techflow's version of my algorithm. Our stock had risen 28% since my announcement, while Techflow continued its slide. The real satisfaction came from watching my former team thrive in their new environment. Stephen Walsh, now Senior Development Manager, stopped by my office with a progress report that would have been impossible at Techflow. "We've implemented the first round of efficiency improvements across our entire platform," he said, grinning like a kid with a new toy. "Performance testing shows 38% faster processing speeds, exactly like you predicted. What about error handling? Improved by 60%. Jennifer's team has been stress testing it all week. No failures even under extreme loads. This was how development was supposed to work. Experienced engineers given proper resources, respect, and freedom to innovate. Not corporate politics and age discrimination disguised as digital transformation." 3 months later, I found myself sitting on the stage at the National Technology Innovation Conference, preparing to deliver the keynote address. The audience included industry leaders, technology journalists, and aspiring developers, many now familiar with what the press had dubbed the algorithm war. "Ladies and gentlemen," the conference organizer announced, "please welcome our keynote speaker, Patrick Sullivan, Chief Technology Officer at Digital Solutions and creator of the distributed processing algorithm that has revolutionized enterprise data management." The applause was substantial. Last year, I'd attended the same conference as part of Techflow's delegation, sitting in the back while Howard presented his company's innovations to this same audience. "Thank you," I began, scanning the attentive faces. "Today I want to talk about innovation, ownership, and why experience matters more than ever in our industry." My presentation covered the technical evolution of distributed processing, but also touched on broader issues of recognition and respect in technology. I emphasized the importance of companies protecting their innovators rather than viewing them as replaceable assets. "Innovation doesn't come from youth alone," I said, looking directly at the younger attendees. "It comes from the combination of fresh perspectives and hard-earned wisdom. The most powerful algorithms are built by teams that value both energy and experience." During the reception afterward, several engineers approached seeking advice. One, a guy about my age, confided, "Your story changed how I approach my career. I started documenting everything I create, just in case." "Smart move," I replied. "Your innovations deserve protection." Another conversation was with a young developer, maybe 28, who surprised me. "I've been studying your algorithm implementation. The efficiency improvements are brilliant. But what I really learned was the importance of patience in development. You didn't rush to market. You perfected it first." That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about getting revenge on Howard Nelson or proving a point about age discrimination. It was about changing how the industry thinks about experience and innovation. 6 months after leaving Techflow, I received an invitation that brought everything full circle. Michael Rodriguez, who'd successfully stabilized the company and negotiated our licensing agreement, wanted me to speak at their internal innovation summit. "I know it might seem awkward," he said during our phone call, "but you'd be addressing the same teams you used to work with. They've implemented new policies on intellectual property recognition and career development. Frankly, your departure was a wake-up call." I accepted. Not to gloat, but to help. Standing in Techflow's main auditorium, the same room where Howard used to hold all-hands meetings dismissing legacy thinking, I addressed an audience that included my former colleagues and several new faces. "Innovation belongs to its creators," I said. "Companies that recognize this truth will attract and keep the best talent. Those that don't will keep learning expensive lessons." After my presentation, several Techflow employees approached me privately. The message was consistent. Management now actually listened to senior engineers, documentation of personal innovations was encouraged, and the company had implemented mentorship programs pairing experienced staff with new hires. Change is possible. Sometimes it just takes a dramatic example to make it happen. 1 year after being told to clean out my desk, I sat in my corner office at Digital Solutions, reviewing quarterly reports. Under my leadership, we'd released 5 major products built on my algorithm improvements, capturing 40% market share in enterprise data processing. Charlie Nocton entered with champagne. "Anniversary gift from the board," he said, setting down 2 glasses. Digital Solutions just officially became the industry leader in our sector. First time in company history. "That's what happens when you invest in innovation instead of just talking about it," I replied. As we toasted, I reflected on the journey. At 52 now, I'd finally found what had eluded me throughout my career. Not just success, but recognition. My name was permanently attached to the technology that changed an industry. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply being undeniably right. The algorithm that started as lines of code in a corporate lab had become something bigger. Proof that experience, properly valued and strategically applied, beats politics every time. And that's a lesson worth remembering, whether you're 25 or 55. The algorithm that started as lines of code in a corporate lab had become something bigger. Proof that experience, properly valued and strategically applied, beats politics every time. In a world obsessed with the next big thing, sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply refusing to let others define your worth.